Well, how about January 6th?
How about January 6th?
This is
there
the
you
crazy
go.
thing. I was trying to explain to Jim Gaffigan one day. Jim Gaffigan was talking about what they did in January 6th. I go, do you understand that there were paid people that were working for the federal government? There were employees of the federal government that were on that lawn trying to convince people to go in. And he was very incredulous. He did not believe it, and I said there are agent provocateurs that is their job to try to get you to do something illegal.
Exactly. So they can build their careers by making these arrests.
Not just that, but demonize the president, the former
100%.
president, to a much larger extent. To charge him with insurrection, to say that he was plotting to overthrow the government.
Yeah, and as it turns out, the only one who was actually plotting to overthrow the government was John Brennan.
How was he plotting to overthrow the government?
In 2015 and 2016 with Russiagate.
Oh, right.
You know, I remember talking to CIA friends of mine saying, you know, they taught us in training that you've got to follow the evidence. And there's no evidence that any of this happened. I worked with Christopher Steele on an operation in London 25 years ago, 26 years ago. There was this fundamental misunderstanding of what an operations officer was supposed to do. An operations officer goes out and collects intelligence and then sends it back. And that's it. Then it's up to the analyst to decide, this is great, this is crap, this is not true, this is partially true, whatever. So he goes out there, talks to whatever low-level, terrible sources he happened to have, writes all this nonsense down, sends it back, and they're like, oh, look what Donald Trump did. He hired prostitutes to pee on Barack Obama's bed. No, he didn't. One guy made this up, and Christopher Steele wrote it and sent it back. That doesn't make it fact.
And wasn't it funded by the Hillary Clinton?
It sure was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, which is equally wild.
You made another point I wanted to address. These January 6 people, let's say that some of them did do whatever, broke the window or went into the building unauthorized. Okay, then that's deserving of a smack on the hand and a strongly worded letter and maybe a $1,000 fine. Don't do that again. 30 years in prison? Again, is society really better off by locking all these people up and spending millions and millions of dollars of the taxpayers' money to do it? Of course not.
No, of course not. But it also just divides us even further.
It does.
And it also very much distorted the narrative with people like Jim Gaffigan, who's a friend of mine, who's a very left-leaning comedian. And he had it in his mind that these people went in, and they also have this thing where they say a cop was murdered.
Right.
That's not true.
I hate that.
They say it over and over again. That's not true. One cop died after the fact of a heart attack. You could say maybe it was because of the stress of January 6th, perhaps.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe he shouldn't have been a cop.
Yeah. I mean, if you can
He had
die
such
of
significant health problems.
Right. Like, that's not normal to just die of a heart attack because of a very stressful day. But that's it. This idea that they killed cops, that narrative keeps coming out. It was an insurrection. They murdered cops. They broke into the White House. They were looking for Nancy Pelosi. They were going to kill her. Like, okay, are you sure? Because there's a lot of this story that's bullshit. Now it turns out, at one point in time, they were saying it was 20 FBI agents. Now the latest number is 270.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that are encouraging people to break in. And there's many instances of these suspected people that are on camera. A lot of them wearing face masks. There's one of them where a guy's removing the broken glass from the window and encouraging people to go in, and another guy gets in his face and goes, "Do not do that," and then he pushes that guy, "Fuck you," and the other guy backs off. How is that not being investigated as a serious crime? And like that is a serious It's a violation of what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. If the FBI was on that lawn, I would hope what they would be doing is informing people. Entering into this building is a felony. Breaking these windows, getting into this building you do not want to do this. If you want to peacefully protest, do that. But I'm telling you, this will fuck with you for the rest of your life and most likely ruin it.
I think you're 100% right.
That's what I would hope from law enforcement. I wouldn't hope that they would be trying to set people up.
And from a civil society.
Right.
You know, do we want to set people up to go to prison? We want to wreck families and wreck people's lives? Why would we want to do that?
Also, did they turn down the idea of bringing in the National Guard?
You know, I really don't understand. It appears, yes. It appears that that's exactly what happened.
Also significantly deterred people from committing these crimes.
That's right.
That they were encouraged to do.
I'll tell you, if I was at a demonstration and all of a sudden the National Guard showed up, I'd say, this isn't for me.
Yeah. And I think most people would do that as well.
I think you're right.
It's crazy. It's just so gross that our legal system gets used against political opponents in that way, in such a devious and just a sinister way.
Harry Truman once famously said, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog.